Hare Krishna. So we'll continue our discussion on Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 1, text. So here we will, what I thought, every day we will recite all the shlokas which are important of this chapter. In that way we'll learn the shlokas of second canto also. Some important shlokas which are from the second canto, we'll recite it before starting the chapter. We'll see how. Maybe I can take first six verses, first six chapters. Some verses we will recite so that you will be able to remember. I will share the screen with the shlokas. So these are the important shlokas for this chapter. We will recite before, every day we will recite, so that we will do it three times, and you can repeat after me, or you can just loudly repeat. वर्यानेशते प्रश्नः कृतो लोकं हितं नृपा आत्मवत्सम्मतः पुंसां श्रोतव्यादिषु यः परः वर्यानेशते प्रश्नः कृतो लोकं हितं नृपः आत्मवत्सम्मतः पुंसां श्रोतव्यादिषु यः परः निद्राह्यते नक्तं व्यवायेन च वावयः दिवाचाद्यहय राजन् कुटुम्बभरणेन वा निद्रया ह्यते नक्तं व्यवायेन च वावयः दिवाचाद्यहय राजन् कुटुम्बभरणेन वा तस्मात् भारत सर्वात्मा भगवानीश्वरो हरिः ओतव्यः कीर्तितव्यश्च स्मर्तव्यः इच्छता भयम् तस्मात् भारत सर्वात्मा भगवानीश्वरो हरिः श्रोतव्यः कीर्तितव्यश्च स्मर्तव्यश्च इच्छता भयम् एता सांख्ययोगाभ्यां स्वधर्मपरिनिष्ठया जन्मलाभपरः पुंसाम् अन्ते नारायणस्मृति एतावान् सांख्ययोगाभ्यां स्वधर्मपरिनिष्ठया जन्मलाभः परः पुंसाम् अन्ते नारायणस्मृति एतन्निर्विद्यमानानाम् इच्छतामकुतो भयम् योगिनां नृपनिर्णीतां हरेर्नामानुकीर्तनम् एतन्निर्विद्यमानानाम् इच्छतामकुतो भयम् योगिनां नृपनिर्णीतां हरेर्नामानुकीर्तनम् We will do one chapter at a time. Please remind me if I forget. Every day before starting our class, we will recite all the shlokas two times. If you want, we can do 3 times also, and in that way you will get used to the shlokas. So every day before the chapter completes, you can memorize the shlokas at least without seeing. After that, you work on memorizing the translations. At least shloka we can memorize. Okay with all of you? Or any suggestions? Anybody want to give anything? You can let me know. You can type on chat box. If this system is okay, or you want any other things, you can let me know. You want more number of times, or you want the way we did one line 3 times, or it is okay, then because you didn't comment, so I accepted this. You all accepted this. Okay, so we will go to the our text. Now this is a very important verse. Of course, there are many important verses in second chapter. This one is also very tough. Idam Bhagavatam Nama Puranam Brahma Samhitam Aditavan Dvaparado Putro Dvaipayanadaham Idam Bhagavatam Namam Puranam Brahma Samhitam Aditavan Dvaparado Putro Dvaipayanadaham. This before shloka This is also very important. Of course, many shlokas are there, which are very important in second canto. Prayena munayo rajan buddha vediseta nirgunasya syadramatismin gunanakatane hari. Like that, this verse I think we have read it. Like we have many important verses in this. Parinishthito Pinarigunam. This is also very important. So maybe second chapter is so many verses we have to learn. You can what we'll do whenever that verse comes, I'll try to repeat it many times. It will be helpful for you. Now here we'll just go with from the beginning till 8th because we still have this chapter and next chapter. No, we can buy out many verses. They are very important chapters. Why? Because this is the beginning of Bhagavatam in one way. Here till now, what happened is this is the story part we have heard, and now from here onwards, Sudhir Goswami is speaking Bhagavatam. This is second canto. In one way, it begins. What is the subject matter of Bhagavatam? Subject matter of Bhagavatam is absolute truth. If we say Vyasdev is talking about Satyam Param Dhimahi, is not telling I am talking about Krishna. That is very important. I told before also. We are talking about absolute truth, and that absolute truth happened to be Krishna like that. And here, the second canto, it is introducing how to Satyam Param Dhimahi. Dhimahi means what? We have to meditate on this absolute truth. And how to meditate on this absolute truth, that actually the second canto explains how the meditation starts. So this chapter explains you meditate on absolute truth. If you don't have any conception, you meditate on the universal form of absolute truth. And next chapter tells you meditate on the Paramatma feature. And after that, it will tell the Bhagavan feature. Like that. Now, the first canto, the Mangalacharan is 3 verses, right? First chapter, first 3 verses. The 3 verses, Vyasdev, he is describing Satyam Param Dhimahi. And he is not telling Krishnam Param Dhimahi. Very important. Because Srimad Bhagavatam, he speaks of the absolute truth. It is not some kind of work that is sectarian work. No, it is not sectarian work. It is a very, very, it is talking about the universal truth, which is applicable for everyone. It is not because, oh, it is our Indian God. No, it is not Indian God. It is not Hindu. Krishna is universal. Now here when the Vyasdev says, I will now tell you what everyone needs to know. Everyone wants to understand the truth. Everyone is seeking for the truth. And they want to know the meaning of life. Without understanding the truth, a person's life becomes meaningless. This is the problem. If we cannot understand absolute truth, life is meaningless. Because you don't have truth, it is meaningless only. And if a person does not use his abilities, his life goes in vain. And he says that if we know the purpose of life, no matter how many difficulties we go through, it makes sense for us. Because we understand, if we understand that, oh, this is some fellow wrote this play and I have to play my part and I don't know what it is, then it becomes very difficult in life. And no, it becomes very, very difficult. But if you know the purpose, I need to learn the truth. That is in the end. Now, when what happens is, if somebody is going, he just have to overcome difficulties, and in the end, what happens? You are going to die. So no matter how much I struggle to overcome the difficulties, at the end I am going to get defeated only. There is a big defeat at the end. I am successful, struggled, success, and one day you are flat on the ground, dead. But then everything is useless. What is the point of everything? But instead, if you know from the beginning what is the purpose, then when we go through certain situations and all, we know, yes, the most important thing is I am understanding. We are able to. Now, here the first canto, the sages ask 6 questions. The main question is what is the essence of all scriptures and what makes a person happy? This is very important question, because we need we need actually we need answer for this question, and the answer is that they're asking what is exactly making a person happy, and after getting this he need not search anywhere else. He's completely happy. Because now what is happening now? We are happy in this world, but we are not completely happy. That's why we always constantly search for more and more happiness. But they are asking, tell me something which will completely, e atma suprasidati, completely happy. That is what is, because that question, the answer is from the second canto. Of course, he has answered it like 1.2.6 savai pumsam paro dharmo eto bhakti radokshaya haituki apratyata yatma. Now that is very nicely elaborated in the second canto. How Atma is completely happy after getting it, you don't need anything else. You are completely happy in that. Then I don't know. Because in this world, no, there is relative happiness. I get some kind of happiness, but after that, immediately I look for new happiness. It does not suit me. I think, yeah, this is probably something better. Let me try. Happiness in this mental world is never finite. uh, and now this is a very important thing, that one can, what is the answer they give is, for people who are rendering loving devotional service, their soul is fully satisfied. And how the service should be done? Selflessly and continuously. Selflessly and continuously. Now, one thing that can make person happy is when he loves Krishna, and when his love is not self-interested. It is not self-interested under. If is when I have no selfish interest, I just love, because we are all made for love. Everything else that is in this material world, it does not make completely happy. Everything else can make us happy for a while. But when we want something else, love is the only thing that makes a person absolutely happy. Love is pure, and love means sacrifice. This is the best state for a living entity, for the soul. And then now here onwards, this canto, it is the instructions are directly given by whom? Sukadeva Goswami. He is giving the instructions how to selflessly render loving devotional service to the Lord. How to meditate, Satyam Param Dhimhi. We have to constantly meditate on this absolute truth. That's the first shloka of Bhagavatam is telling. Meditate. Now here, when Vyasadev, he was dissatisfied, and Narada Muni comes and says, oh, you have written many things, and Vyasadev was not given any Nobel Prize for his literary work, because he compiled all the Vedas, he wrote Puranas, and he wrote Mahabharata, and it's such a big thing. And Narada says, you did not talk about Krishna. Vyasadev said, what I did not talk? Everything I was telling about Krishna only. But Narada says, no, what you did, no? Narada says, you talk about Krishna, that is true. But you said something else also that need to be done. Yoga is good, karma is good, sacrifice is good. And then one must say about Krishna, so no one has any doubts that only purpose of life is Krishna. And Narada said, you are confused. People will practice many things and then they'll say we are religious, we are completely satisfied. But that will not completely satisfy the heart. That is the problem, because people are selfish by nature. And Narada Muni says, Vyasdev, that your writings, he said, you yourselves are unhappy. Everyone else is will be unhappy only. That then he gives the story about himself only that we have seen. So look at me, that how I did service to the Lord. And Narada Muni looks at Vyasdev looks at Narada Muni and says, "Oh, he's completely happy person. All signs of happy person are there. He's traveling all over the world. He's meeting everybody. He's making everybody rejoice." Then this is where when we hear about Krishna, something should move in our heart. When we listen about again and again, it should this should help, mm, like in our heart. And then here Sutta Goswami uh, talks about how Vyasdev wrote this Bhagavatam. So this is what is this today's shloka. He says, uh, of course, we'll just go through, summarize what we have discussed till now. The first shloka tells about, he appreciates the question. He does not do Mangalachan. So happy. Varyaneshate prashna. Krito lokam atma sammate pumsam. It is completely satisfying the self. This is the question actually. That what exactly we need to get. After that, we need not try anything. And this is Array, Srota Vyadi, Rajendra. These materialistic people, they have so many things to discuss. They are just wasting their valuable human form of life. And then he says that we have Nidra Hiyate Naktan, they spend their day in sleeping, and daytime in working, and nighttime in sleeping, and all these things. And they are so much attached. Deha Patrakalatradishu Atma Sanneshu Tesham Pramatto Nidram. Very, very highly attached. And most important thing, they are completely envious. Because we want to enjoy in this material world, there is envy. If I say something is mine, there is envy. If we see somebody is enjoying better than there is. So this is default setting for all the people around. They don't have any purpose in life. Their purpose, they think, is how to make a better facilities to enjoy in this material world. And everybody is trying. All the politicians are trying. I will make the country much better. I will try to do something good for the society. And the community people, societies, and everybody is trying to different ways. You purchase a flat in our society. Our society is like heaven only. They want to give this experience of heaven. And yeah, and then that's all. Nothing happens. That means we are trying to settle in this material world, making it in a comfortable place, but does not work. That's why Tasma, therefore, Bharat Sarvatma, Bhagavan Ishvaro Hari, Srotavya Kirtavyasya, Smartavya, Ichchatavyam. Therefore, you you start chanting, remembering, glorifying Krishna only. This is the solution. What Sutta Goswami also told. Savai pumsam paro dharmo ito bhakti. And then Vyasdev, he is despondent. That's why. And here another conclusion is Ante Narayana Smriti, Janmalabha Paramhamsa. How to know whether life is successful or not? If you are able to remember Krishna, that's what success is. That's why Patyam Param Dhimahi, meditate on the absolute truth. So that at the end we'll be able to remember Krishna, and then our life is successful. And then he says this one, Prayana Muniyo Rajan. He says that the topmost transcendentalists who are above the regulative principles and restrictions take pleasure in describing the glories of the Lord. And this Vyasa Maharshi we were discussing now, he was completely unhappy. But Narada says, you are confused people, just glorify Krishna. Now, after then Vyasdev, he takes this task, and he writes this, and sitting on the bank of Saraswati river, he meditates, and he could see Krishna and then Maya also, and he saw all the living entities turning away from Krishna, and he saw cause of illness, the cause of misfortune of all living entities. And then he began to write Srimad Bhagavatam, and he tells the story of Parikshit Maharaj. Now how Parikshit Maharaj saved, and then we saw that all these stories from the first canto. Now the second canto is glorifying Maharaj Parikshit's questions. And the first question is asking anybody in this situation, you have 7 days to live and you are having a snake to bite you, and what will be the first question anybody ask? Can I have any antidote for snake bite? But that would be the main question. But Parikshit Maharaj is completely different person. He is not asking, send me some mantras which will help me. Tantra, mantra, yantra, mudras, aushadas, nothing. He is saying, okay, is Parikshit Maharaj is telling, uh, it's actually, there is the mantras, no? There are different scriptures have different mantras. And Tantra, including the Tantra, there are mantras that they read about snakes and they can kill the snakes and help to antidote. And then there are mantras which will make snakes run away also. And there are in Tantra Shastra, there are recipe for all types of problems. Tantra is a whole class of scriptures which teach. And in Tantras, there are mantras. This Tantra Shastra has mantras which have the specific procedure that need to be done in order to achieve certain goals. And this is what Narada Muni is upset with. Vyasdev, why you wrote all these things? Now even for us also it is so tempting now. Oh, Tantra Shastra, let me just go and see if there is any recipe to solve the problems in my family, any health issues. It's so tempting. The most Vedas are very practical. They solve the very vital issues of life. And Tantras give methods which we can achieve our desires. And Vedas also explain some sacrifices, what sacrifice need to be done, because everybody want to fulfill their desires. And now Janmejayana, he wanted to take revenge on Parikshit Maharaj's death. He does Sarpa Yajna. This is there in the Shastras. Parikshit Maharaj did not want any revenge. But his son said, you killed my father, I will take revenge. And then he did Sarpa Yajna where all the Sarpas die and all these things. There is a question. But Prabhu, many times even devotees also say to us that be practical in life. Keep on going with sadhana, everything will be all right. So how far this is correct? Yeah, for us only sadhana. We don't need to do anything else. Because the problems won't solve so many times. I have seen problems don't solve in life. What should be changed? We just have to change the attitude and go on with our life. Things don't change much. Sometimes it changes, but it's a long, it takes time. On its own, only many things solve. By our methods, very few things we can settle. But many things are settled by time. Time only heals. Till that time, we just have to be patiently practicing bhakti and go on. And sometimes what happens is the problems, they never solve in life. We only get new problems. And I have seen the life of many people. They were very worried about some problems. And then after that, they don't worry about it because now it is replaced with the new issues. And people continue their life with the new issues. It happens like that. So we need not go all these tantras, mantras. Peacefully chant, control the mind, everything will be. Extreme cases, if extreme cases and health issues and all that time people can go. Otherwise, no need. And then here we see that Parikshit Maharaj asked how to solve all problems. That means how to achieve the highest perfection. Because when a person solves a particular problem, he attains certain kind of perfection. There are siddhis with which a person can walk on water, and this is how people they practice. So this is solving the problem. You want to not to get drowned. You want to walk on water. You can solve it, but that does not make any sense. Like now, here Sudhir Goswami is very ecstatic when he's answering. And there are so many things that are discussed here. Now we will see some purport also. He says, at the end of Dwapar Yuga, I studied this great supplement of Vedic literature named Srimad Bhagavatam, which is equal to all Vedas from my father Sri Ila Dvaipana Vyasadeva. No, Prabhupada writes nice purport. Actually, first 2-3 chapters purports are very nice. We have to read it again and again. It will nice. The statement made by Srila Sudhe Goswami in the last was that mainly the topmost transcendentalists who are beyond the jurisdiction of regulations and restrictions take to the task of hearing about and glorifying the personality of God. It is verified by his personal example. Sudhe Goswami, being a recognized liberated soul and the topmost transcendentalist, was accepted by all of the topmost sages present in the meeting during the last 7 days of Maharaj Parikshit. He cites from the example of his life that he himself was attracted by the transcendental activities of the Lord, and he studied Srimad Bhagavatam from his great father, Sri Dvaipayana Vyasadeva. Srimad Bhagavatam, or for that matter, any other scientific literature, cannot be studied at home by one's own intellectual capacity. So this is the point. Medical book of anatomy or psychology are available in the market, but no one can become a qualified medical practitioner simply by reading such books at home. One has to be admitted to the medical college and study the books under the guidance of a learned professor. Similarly, Srimad Bhagavatam, the postgraduate study of science of Godhead, can only be learned by studying it at the feet of a realized soul like Srila Vyasadeva. Although Sudhe Goswami was a liberated soul, from the very day of his birth, he still had to take lessons of Srimad Bhagavatam from his great father Vyasadeva, who compiled the Srimad Bhagavatam under the instruction of great soul Sri Narada Muni. Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu instructed learned Brahmana to study from a personal Bhagavata. Bhagavat Padya Bhagavat Asthani. They have to learn Bhagavatam. This is the important point. We cannot understand. That's why we need the commentaries of Prabhupada and Vishnu Thakur, all the acharyas. Srimad Bhagavatam is based on the transcendental name, form, attributes, pastime, and present variegatedness of the Supreme Lord. It is spoken by the incarnation of personality of Goddess Srila Vyasadeva. Pastimes of Lord are executed in cooperation with his pure devotion. Consequently, historical incidents are mentioned in this great literature because they are related to Krishna. It is called Brahma Samhita because it is a sound representation of Lord Krishna. Purana Brahma Samhitam because this is Krishna only, like Bhagavad Gita. The Bhagavad Gita sound incarnation of Lord Krishna because it is spoken by the Supreme Lord. Srimad Bhagavatam sound representation of Lord because it was spoken by the incarnation of Lord about the activities of Lord. That's why it is Brahmas. And then very important point is, as stated in the beginning of the book, this is the essence of Vedic desire tree and the natural commentary on Brahma Sutra, the topmost philosophical thesis on the subject matter of Brahman. And then here it is said that Vyasa appeared at the end of Dwapara Yuga, the son of Satya. Therefore, the word Dwaparado, beginning of Dwapara Yuga, in this context means just prior to the beginning of Kali Yuga. The logic of this statement, according to Srila Jiva Goswami, is comparable to that of the calling the upper portion of the tree as the beginning. The root of the tree is the beginning of the tree, but in common knowledge, the upper portion of the tree is first seen. In that way, the end of the tree is accepted as its beginning. So when you call Dwaparado, it should be beginning of Dwapara Yuga. That is some 8 lakh years back. But Vyasa is born at the end of Dwapara Yuga. How can you call as Dwaparado? So here Jiva Goswami is giving that logic. Parinishthitopi Nairgunya Uttama Shloka Leelaya Grihita Cheta Rajarshi Akhyanam Yad Aditavan. So this is nice shloka, you can buy it. Parinishthitopi Nairgunya Uttama Shloka Leelaya Grihita Cheta Rajarshi Akhyanam Yad Aditavan. Parinishthitopi Nairgunya Uttama Shloka Leelaya Grihita Cheta Rajarshi Akhyanam Yad Aditavan. So we will recite this shloka every day. Then maybe by the end of this chapter, you will all have you will be able to memorize some of the shlokas. O saintly king, I was certainly situated perfectly in transcendent, yet I was still attracted by the delineation of the pastimes of the Lord, who is described by the enlightened verses. This is another shloka which is trying to prove how after liberation also a person will be attracted to the pastimes of the Lord. We have another shloka in the first canto, Atma Ramascha Manyo Nirganta Virukrame Kuruvanta Hetu Kim Bhakti Mittam Bhuta Gunohari. Similarly, this shloka is also telling, oh, I was already situated in the perfect stage, but still I got attracted to the past tense of the Lord. This is Sudhir Goswami's personally telling, Array, I got attracted, Lord's past tense is so special. And Prabhupada says, the absolute truth is realized as impersonal movement at the first instant by philosophical speculation, later with the super soul, by further progress of transcendental. But by the grace of Lord, impersonalist is enlightened by the superior statements of Srimad Bhagavatam. He is also converted into a transcendental devotee of personality of Godhead. This is the main point. And last we said, a person like Sudhir Goswami cannot be attracted by any mundane activity, but when such a devotee is convinced of a superior method, he is certainly attracted to the transcendental activities of the Lord. Lord is transcendental, the activities or as are his activities is neither inactive nor impersonal. Tadaham te abhidasyami mahapaurushiko bhavan yasya sattad shraddadatam aso shahman kunde sati. He says, this very Srimad Bhagavatam I shall recite before you because you are the most sincere devotee of Lord Krishna, one who gives full attention and respect to hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, achieves unflinching faith in the Supreme Lord, the giver of salvation. Now he is telling, well, I got attracted to it. I heard from my father. Now I am going to tell you why. What is your qualification? Because Mahapaurushiko Bhavan. Because you are the very great sincere devotee, most sincere devotee of Lord Krishna. Even Guru is praising his disciple. You are such a sincere devotee of Krishna. I will tell you what is Krishna. So this is he says that that means to hear Bhagavatam, such a big qualification is needed. We are not devotees like Parikshit Maharaj, but still we will also try and something we will be able to understand. That is the point. Srimad Bhagavatam is recognized Vedic wisdom, and the system of receiving Vedic knowledge is called Avaroha Panta, or the process of receiving transcendental knowledge through a bona fide disciplic succession. And for advancement of material knowledge, there is a need for personal ability and researching aptitude. But in the case of spiritual knowledge, all progress depends more or less on the mercy of spiritual master. The spiritual master must be satisfied with it. This is very important purport. For the advancement of material knowledge, there is no need for personal ability and researching aptitude. But in case of spiritual knowledge, all progress more or less depends on the mercy of spiritual master. The spiritual master must be satisfied with the disciple. Only then is knowledge automatically manifested before the students of spiritual science. This now we have to give up our ego very badly. Then only we will be able to accept somebody so superior and just surrender to Guru and say everything is in mercy. To say only sometimes becomes so difficult. I gave such a nice class and I should at the end say it's all mercy of my Guru. I did not do anything. It really hurts the ego for people. And that is, but here that is what is told. Everything is, it is by mercy of spiritual master only. The process should not, however, be misunderstood to be something like magical feats whereby the spiritual master acts like a magician and injects spiritual knowledge upon his disciple as if surcharging him with an electric current. This is not the system. Spiritual master or Krishna, they are not magicians. Like now we say, why Krishna is not purifying all living entities at a time and take them to spiritual world? Why is not changing? Because Krishna is not magician. He wants us to work hard and then come back there. Work hard and have a desire of intense desire, even though it is done by Krishna only. He just wants us to make an endeavor, because Krishna told Arjuna, we discussed this many times. Krishna told Arjuna, I already killed Bhishma, Drona, Jayadrata. But you make an endeavor. Mamanusmaridhaja. That's what Krishna is expecting from us. Just make an endeavor, want to come to me. I'll make everything clear for you. That's why he is not a magician. He want to purify your heart in a proper way, and that comes in the third chapter also in this canto, and the change of heart. Krishna want to work in that direction. He want us to change our heart and come there. He's not like a magician. Even spiritual master is also. Most important thing what we get from spiritual master is the instructions. He is giving his guidance, his personal example, how he is very interested in Krishna. And when we follow such person, we should be sure that by following this person, I will also achieve Krishna. Because he is doing so intense sadhana, I also want to do like him. That is what is more important for us. Spiritual master is not magician. You go to him for curing your disease, some family problems, some other issues. This is not, spiritual master is meant only for spiritual questions. Very, very rarely people should go for some personal issues and try to settle them. We can take guidance, but it is not for solving. Like if I want to ask a guidance, should I stay here, Vrindavan, or should I stay at that place? Should I start new preaching, or should I do this service? Should I take responsibility? Something related, we can ask and take guidance, but I shall not go. I have so much stomach related health issues. What should I do? If it is so much troubling and we need some very important guidance in life, that time we can go like that. That's what Prabhupada is going to tell further. The apostle should not, however, be misunderstood to be something like magical feats, whereby the spiritual master acts like a magician and injects spiritual knowledge into his disciple. It's not. See here, Prabhupada, the bona fide spiritual master responsibly explains everything to the disciple on the authority of Vedic wisdom. And the disciple can receive such teachings not uh, exactly intellectually, but by submissive inquiries and service attitude. This is only when we start rendering service to Guru, then we'll be able to understand what he's telling in a much more deeper way. We can understand, but to understand in a deeper way, we need to render service. Otherwise, now somebody can like we can read this and we can understand. Yes, I understand. But what is understood, like no, some I think one proper disabled Mataji, she was in her last days of her life, and she could not even move. Half of her body was paralyzed. She was bedridden, and they gave one tab to her in which she can scroll and read Prabhupada books. And she says that when I was reading Prabhupada books now, I was able to understand them so deeply because now she didn't have anything. She has very, very few months' time to live. And she told, I never understood Prabhupada books so nicely the way I am understanding them now. That means what? The depth of that understanding will increase. We become more deeper when we start rendering service to our spiritual master. So it is not exactly intellectually understanding, but with submissive inquiry and service attitude. And Prabhupada said, the idea is that the bona fide spiritual master and disciple must be bona fide. In this case, the spiritual master Sudhir Goswami is ready to recite exactly what he has learned from his great father Srila Vyasdev, and his disciple and the disciple Maharaj Parikshit is a great devotee of Lord Krishna. A devotee of Lord Krishna is he who believes sincerely that by becoming a devotee of Lord, one becomes fully equipped with everything spiritual. This teaching is imparted by the Lord himself in the pages of Bhagavad Gita, in which it is clearly described that the Lord, Sri Krishna, is everything, and that to surrender unto him solely and wholly makes one most perfectly pious man. And now, nice one. The unflinching faith in Lord Krishna appears, the unflinching faith in Lord Krishna prepares one to become student of Srimad Bhagavatam, and one who hears Srimad Bhagavatam from a devotee like Sukadeva Goswami is sure to attain salvation at the end, as Maharaj Parikshit did. So this is what is unflinching faith is needed. And we are most fortunate to get Srimad Bhagavatam, but we don't understand our fortune. And many people are unfortunate who don't get Bhagavatam. That is actually true. People who don't have access to Bhagavatam, they are not knowing Bhagavatam, they are really very unfortunate. And because we get it so easily, we don't know our fortune. And at least fortunately, one thing we are all doing every day sitting with Bhagavatam, even though we may not, some of you know, some may not be, at least for me, I don't know how much great thing. But at least sitting every day with Bhagavatam is slowly, one day I will understand, oh, such a great treasure I got. And Prabhupada, right, this is what I wanted. The professional reciters of Bhagavatam and the pseudo devotees whose faith is built on the 1 week's hearing are different from Sukadeva Goswami and Maharaj Parikshit. Srila Vyasdev explained Srimad Bhagavatam on to Sukadeva Goswami from the very beginning of the Janmadhyasyata verse, and so Sukadeva Goswami also explained to the king. This is very important. If we have to go chapter by chapter to understand Bhagavatam. You cannot take something here, something there, something. No. Sukadeva Goswami has certain logic. Sukadeva Goswami has certain very important sequence to take us, because if you go through that sequence, what Sukadeva Goswami is doing, our heart will be freed from all the unwanted contaminations, unwanted things, and all the what do you call misconceptions are properly thoroughly cleared. We cannot skip any chapter, even if the chapter is just reciting the names of all the kings after king after king after king. Still we have to do it, because that is what Sukadeva Goswami is want us to learn in that way only. Now this Bhagavad Saptas and all, they take here 7 days 7 stories and finish. You don't get much from it. That is not possible only. This is very clearly told. Prabhupada is also telling the same thing. 1 week hearing, whose faith is based on weeks hearing. Bhagavad Sapta, it is not like that. It is from the very beginning till the end. That's how it should be learned. And now some Bhagavad Sapta people, they say, oh, see, and they take money. When they ask, sorry, why you charge money? They said, see, we do some welfare activities. I run Goshala, we feed our ashram, we feed so many people. That's why when I do Bhagavad Sapta, we charge for it. And then we have some orchestra people who come for music, who come for setup and all these things. It charges for us. That's why we are charging. But it will not benefit only. And they say, Array, then there will be complaint from this side that, oh, so now when you are speaking or anything, you want to impress your organizers. That's why you speak. But they say, no, we are not speaking to impress, because the way we speak is only impressing. We are not separately impressing. The way we talk, the way we sing. So what is the problem? Now you say your argument is who are who are against Bhagavad Sapta, they say that you charge money, and then now to please your organizers, you speak. Now these people who are doing Bhagavad Sapta, they argue, no, we don't speak to impress them. The way we speak is only impressing. The way we sing, the way we talk is only impressing. So where is the question of separately endeavoring for that? We are doing our naturally only, we are doing it, and they are happy with our things. And then we want to maintain our team who are coming, we have to pay for them. That's why we are charging money. And then we run our Goshala and our ashrams. That's why we are charging. Now, what do you think is the answer for this? This is their question. I have one more question also. What do you think is the answer? If they say we are not doing, will that Bhagavad Sapta will benefit? Any suggestions, questions, comments? Yes, no, will benefit. You understood the question at least? Bhagavad Sapta people are telling we are doing naturally our thing. We are just reciting Bhagavatam, that is impressing them. And we are charging money because we have to maintain all these things. What is your opinion? What is your opinion? It is right to do such Bhagavad Saptas or not? Now very famous Kathakas are there, and they have yes.
Yeah, to some extent I feel it's right, because what we do without charging, many people cannot take advantage of it, and they are charging and they are able to take advantage of it. They may not be benefited 100%, but then they are benefited to some extent. From that point of view, Bhagavad Saptas are necessary all over, and it is not possible for us to, for us or for any organization like ISKCON, to spread ourselves throughout the country and then do this. But then they are able to do it. So to some extent, it is right.
Any other opinions? Any other plus minus opinions? We should have some opinion. Yes. Yes, Srinivas Gopal.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dhanat Pranam
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna.
Prabhuji, in my opinion, Bhagavad Sapta should not be charged. As per Shastras, I hear this from devotees. It should not be an exchange of money. Or the Saptas who has given should not accept any money at all.
They are telling that we have to run our Goshala, we have to run our ashram, we feed so many people free food and all.
But he can take in the Gosala name, not on the name, on the context of Bhagavad Sapta.
Yeah.
Not on the concept of Bhagavad Sapta. He can take, this is, we can use for Gosala. If he offer some money, then we can say, please give it for Goshala, not for Bhagavad Sapta.
Yes, this is very nice. Yes, Gaurang Gopimach.
Prabhu, my answer is also on the same lines. Maybe if the hearer of Bhagavatam is pleased and they are benefited, they can give donations voluntarily. Instead of telling you come to hear Bhagavatam Katha and you have to give so much money, So voluntarily, people can be asked to donate and give charity.
Yes, that is also very nice. Yes, Champaklata Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavad Pranams. Actually, Srila Prabhupada was not very much in favor of Bhagavad Sapta because he felt Bhagavatam is Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. Like, you have to be serving the Bhagavatam Nityam, eternally. And Saptaha is actually kind of, trying to capture certain essence of Bhagavatam, but it cannot convey or drown the hearer completely in the mood of Bhagavatam. So that is according to Srila Prabhupada. And another thing is, even in case ISKCON or any other organization is conducting such saptahas, the sponsors or those who are actually, giving Lakshmi, it has to be voluntary, and it shouldn't be like, it shouldn't be conducted in a commercial way.
30 lakhs.
Yeah, absolutely. That's my understanding.
Yeah. Thank you. This is very, very important because they should voluntarily give. That should touch their heart. That should change their heart. Like what happens is when we charge, then automatically the connection it is impure because they expect something from us. Then it becomes difficult. But when I am doing selflessly, it touches their heart. They are selflessly doing it. They are not expecting anything from us. That touches the heart. Then there will be a transmission of spiritual knowledge. Otherwise, what happens? This actually happens in the school also. Previously, Gurukulas are free. Now, what is happening? We are paying to the school, and then we demand from teachers, you have to teach my son this. There is no respect for teachers so much because they're charging for it, and because they are taking so much money, they say they have to perform also. The relation is not pure in that way because children they scold teachers, parents they scold teachers, and teachers also they are not so happy because the relation is not pure. But in the same way, when people are charged, then the relation is not very pure. But if we just selflessly give, and if Now, why you have to maintain a big Goshala, big ashram? Whatever funds come, with that you maintain. Don't create something big. If I am doing some helping, speaking Bhagavatam, and people are helping with some donation, with that donation only you run a Goshala. Let it be small. Why to make a very big thing and now to maintain it, I'll go around the world and do Bhagavad Sapta because I have to maintain it. No. First you go and do Bhagavad Sapta. If somebody is giving something, then you make small thing, just maintain that. No need to create something very big and no complicate the system. This will not work. Anytime there is money is given, there will be expectation. The relation is not pure. You have to do this, you have to do this. Then they have to say, if they say I will speak for 2 hours, then the organization, no, 3 hours we want that. They cannot say no. Then what? If I don't take money, I say 2 hours, or even if I finish in 1 hour also, they cannot say anything. Yeah, he's doing anyway free. It's like that. Anybody has any comments? Main is the relationship. Here, Parikshit Maharaj, the relationship, what is very important. There should be gratitude, there should be respect, there should be submission. These all things are there. Now we may say, Array, all these people who are attending Bhagavad Sapta, they have so much adoration, so much respect and all. Still, because, and of course, who have this type of attitude, they may get benefited little bit. And that is true also that Chari Prabhu was telling that ISKCON cannot do, so these people are doing. What they can do, they can increase Sukruti of people, but they cannot change the heart of people. That is not possible. What Ranganath Charan Prabhu is telling is also valid, that these people are going around and at least enlightening people about Krishna and Bhagavatam. That is true. They are only giving some Sukruti because they are making them hear about Krishna and all. There is some Sukruti that is definitely there for them, but it is not completely change of heart. That is not possible because Prabhupada also did in Mumbai Cross Maidan and 2 great personalities came, Loknath Maharaj and Radhanath Maharaj. They both joined, and then you can see how much they did for ISKCON. Because it touching their heart, it was free. 30,000 people used to attend every day. Prabhupada Bhagavad Sapta. Like that. So, yeah, they are doing something good. We don't deny. They are trying to enlighten people, give them some Sukruti. But they cannot make devotees. That is not possible. Devotee can be made only when there is selflessly given. No question of, they can make many followers, they can make many things they will have, but they're all pious people. Like what Vyasdev criticized, Narad Muni criticized Vyasdev, you just diverted the people. Because people want to enjoy and they need some means to enjoy. So they feel, okay, Bhagavad Sapta is also, we are doing some punya, and then because we have done something good, now we should get some enjoyment in life. That's all. They cannot go beyond it. To make them transcend, to make them come to the highest platform, there should be. Prabhupada could change the heart of people because they could see the selflessness of Prabhupada. They could see that this person don't need anything. That touched their heart and changed, and that's how he could make many devotees all over the world. It's not what we speak. Radhanath Maharaj says, it is the life, the way you are living, the character and that integrity, that is selflessness. That is what is touching the people's heart. So they can make some pious people, but they cannot make devotees of the Lord, selfless devotees of the Lord. These Bhagavad Sapta people, they cannot do it. So we are more interested in making devotees. Any comments, questions? Okay. And this is a very important shloka. I took on Gaur Purnima time this one, but maybe next Gaur Purnima again I'll repeat this shloka. This is my most favorite. Now, now because see how we know Bhagavatam. We know Bhagavatam because of Lord Chaitanya only. That is Krishna himself. Krishna himself comes and propagates this message of Bhagavatam because Krishna, he performed the Leela and everybody knows it. But what special is there in that? That is revealed by Krishna only in the form of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That is very important. Krishna is described as the Mahapurusha in Srimad Bhagavatam in his devotional feature as Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Lord Krishna himself in his devotional attitude, descended to it to bestow special favor upon the fallen souls in the age of Kali. So this is the speciality. He, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, gave this Srimad Bhagavatam. Aradhyo Bhagavan Rajesh Tanaya Tadham Vrindavanam Brahma Kajata Vasna Vrajavadu Varge Navami. This Srimad Bhagavatam Pramanam Amalam Prema. So Srimad Bhagavatam is the basis on which Lord Chaitanya established the philosophy of Achintya Bheda Tattva, and that is what we are all interested. So these are the two very particularly very suitable to offer the prayers to this Mahapurusha feature of Lord Chaitanya, Lord Krishna. They are actually talking about Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. These two shlokas, Dhyayam Sada Paribhavitagni Abhishta Doham Tatra Padam Shiva Virinchi Nutam Sharanyam Vrityarthan Pranatipala Bhavabdi Potam Mande Mahapurushate Sharanarvindam Tekpa Surepsita Raja Lakshmi Dharmishta Arya Vachasa Yadagadharanyam Maya Mugam Daita Nipsita Anvadavat Vande Mahapurushate Charanarvindam. So here these two shlokas are actually explaining about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Of course, it can be understood for Krishna also, and last shloka can be understood for Ram also. And Prabhupada writes, anyone who hears Srimad Bhagavatam attentively from its bona fide reciter is sure to become a sincere devotee of Lord who is able to avoid liberation. So if we hear from a proper source, then he becomes very sincere devotee. There are none so attentive as Maharaj Parikshit in the matter of hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, and there is none so qualified as Sukadeva Goswami to recite the text of Srimad Bhagavatam. Therefore, anyone who follows in the footsteps of either the ideal reciter or the ideal hearer, Sukadeva Goswami and Maharaj Parikshit respectively, will undoubtedly attain salvation like them. Maharaj Parikshit attains salvation by hearing only, and Sukadeva Goswami attains salvation only by reciting. Reciting and hearing are two processes out of 9 devotional activities, and by strenuously following these processes, either all of them or some of them, one can attain the absolute plane. Now, one last point from this, he says, so the complete text of Srimad Bhagavatam, beginning from Janmadhyasya up to the 12th canto, 12, 13, 23, was spoken by Sukadeva Goswami for the attainment of salvation by Maharaj Parikshit. In the Padma Purana, it mentioned that Gautama Muni advised Maharaj Ambarish to hear regularly Srimad Bhagavatam as it was recited by Sukadeva Goswami, and therein it is confirmed that Maharaj Ambarish heard Srimad Bhagavatam from the very beginning to the end, and it was spoken by Sukadeva Goswami, who was actually interested in Bhagavatam. Therefore, must not play with it by reading or hearing portions from here and portions from there. See, where this is Prabhupada's writing. One who is actually interested in Bhagavatam, therefore, must not play with it by reading or hearing a portion from here and a portion from there. One must follow in the footsteps of great kings like Maharaj Ambarish or Maharaj Parikshit and hear it from a bona fide representative of Sukadeva Goswami. This is the point. And now you should ask a question after hearing this. Are Ambarish Maharaj in Satyuga and Sukadeva Goswami is reciting in beginning of Kali Yuga. How come that Gautama Muni is advising Ambarish Maharaj that you recite this? That means Srimad Bhagavatam is an eternal literature. It is directly Krishna only. That means eternal. That means Sukadeva Goswami is every time reciting, Maharaj Parikshit every time hearing in different ages, like that. This is another conclusion. Etan nirvidhyamananam ichchatam agato bhayam yoginam nipanirnitam harer naman kirtanam. You have to remember this shloka. Etan nirvidhyamananam ichchatam agato bhayam yoginam nipanirnitam harer naman kirtanam. Etan nirvidhyamananam ichchatam agato bhayam yoginam nipanirnitam harer naman kirtanam. O king, constant chanting of the holy name of Lord after the ways of great authorities is the doubtless and fearless way of success for all, including those who are free from all material desires, those who are desirous of all material enjoyment, and also those who are self-satisfied by dint of transcendental knowledge. This is very nice. So, what is to be done? Chanting only. That's all. And because I'm in Vrindavan, I'm talking about chanting. Maybe if I go back, I may not have. Yeah, chanting is so easy. Let's say every day I'm speaking something on chanting, but not sure when I go back because that type of and another problem, na, if we stay so long in Vrindavan permanently, then we may not have that. Very few people, some fortunate devotees, they are always intense wherever they are. And when they come to Vrindavan, they become. But after some time, there is a question also, do these Bhagavad Sapta speakers come in line of parampara? I think not everyone. So unless and until one is in line of discipleship, there will be no benefit. Yeah, if they are not in Bonafide Parampara. Actually, there are some schools in Vrindavan which teach how to give Bhagavad Saptas, what type of jokes to speak, what type of stories to tell, and what way you should do. There is a training classes, Bhagavad Sapta. But what is the value of it? You just want to make money. So that is not of much value. So this is all useless. They will create only some sukriti here, there comes because they're chanting some shlokas of Bhagavatam and all. But the change of heart, the essence cannot be achieved. It's just it takes quite long time. But if somebody can, what Prabhupada see, Americans who don't know anything about Lord, just coming in touch with Prabhupada, in a short time, they could become such a pure devotees. And people in India, from childhood, they are attending Bhagavad Saptas, they organize many Bhagavad Saptas and all. At the end of life also, they are attached to their materialistic family life. They don't want to give up. No, they may say, I organize 20 Bhagavad Saptas. I have people also whom I know. Every year, 3 Bhagavad Sapta he organizes. But very, very attached to family. If you see status, nothing, my God, what is this status? So much attachment to family. Now Prabhupada could change within a short time. One darshan of Prabhupada, they said, okay, surrender to Krishna. And here, so many Bhagavad Sapta they organized, they attended, they danced in Bhagavad Sapta, and they do so many gymnastic at the end of Bhagavad Saptas. Now, why there is no benefit? There is no change in heart. Of course, there is benefit, there is some sukruti, but no change in heart. This is the problem. India, so many years Bhagavad Saptas, but there is no much change in heart. They just remain materialistic people. Some pious entertainment there. They say we love Krishna. Yeah, but what? I love my dog also. I love my my house also, and then you have many other things also to love. That is the point. But they could not give it. Prabhupada could do it. Why? This is the secret. He just selflessly gave, and it looks like very few people, but whoever came, they took it completely. We should not go with number. They may have 1 lakh, 2 lakh people attending their katha. Our class, maybe 10 people will come or only 5 will come. But if that 5 people are seriously practicing, they are ready to chant 16 rounds, they are ready to follow the regulative principles. 5, instead of 1 lakh, all these like stars, 1 moon is sufficient, right? So this Bhagavad Saptana, not even 1% at the end of Bhagavad Sapta will say, I'll chant 16 rounds. But you take 6 session journey of self-discovery, people start chanting. Some will start chanting 16 rounds. So what is more benefiting? The soul is getting liberated. That is a benefit. And Prabhupada writes, this is a nice purport. Maybe we'll just write a big purport. Still, we'll try to do maybe 1 para we'll do, and then we'll take the remaining. In the previous verses, the great necessities for attaining attachment to Mukunda has been accredited. There are different types of persons who desire to attain success in different varieties of pursuits. Generally, the persons are materialists. who desire to enjoy the fullest extent of material gratification. Next to them are the transcendentalists who have attained perfection, perfect knowledge about the nature of material enjoyment, and thus are aloof from such an illusory way of life. More or less, they are satisfied in themselves and by self-realization. Above them are the devotees of the Lord who neither aspire to enjoy the material enjoyment nor desire to get out of it. They are after the satisfaction of Lord Sri Krishna. In other words, the devotees of Lord do not want anything on their personal account. If the devotee desires, the devotee can accept all sorts of material facilities, and if the Lord does not desire this, the devotee can leave aside all sorts of facilities, even up to the limit of salvation. Nor are they self-satisfied because they want satisfaction of Lord only. This is a very important thing. Of course, we fall. We are not completely there. Also, we are not completely materialistic. Also, we come in between. That's why ours sometimes is quite a challenging situation, because we know material enjoyment is not good, and spirituality also we cannot completely surrender to Krishna. We are hanging in between. We know I cannot go there also, but this also seems to be too difficult. That's why we are having so many challenges. Just one pair I'll read and because we have actually this chapter. I'll just see how many. This is 39. We are only in 11. We have 39. So much is remaining. Maybe if I am not able to do some shlokas now, we can do as some homework also. You can read some of the purports and then you can do, because second part of this, last part of this is about Virat Rupanda. That we'll see. In this verse, Srila Sukadeva Goswami recommends the transcendental chanting of the holy name of Lord. By offenseless chanting and hearing of the holy name of Lord, one becomes acquainted with the transcendental form of the Lord, and then with the attributes of the Lord, then with the transcendental nature of his pastimes, etc. So, Nama, Rupa, Guna, Lila. First you hear the holy name, then the form, then the qualities, and then the Leelas, then the pastimes. So, this is what Prabhupada is telling. So, first you then name, then form, then all the qualities, then the pastimes. Here it is mentioned that one should constantly chant the holy name of Lord after hearing it from authorities. This means that hearing from the authority is the first essential. Now, what happened now in modern times, this hearing from authority is completely deleted only from the system. This is actually causing greatest disaster for people, especially in the West. They don't have this concept of when we hear from authority, we have to accept. At least in India, still it is there. If people have, if they say, oh, Guruji is telling, or if they say, okay, this is told in the Vedas, people immediately, many of them even now also, they accept it. Yes. They come and India, this culture is there. People go to temple and they accept. So hearing the holy name, that this means the hearing from authority is the first essential thing. If you don't accept only authority, what is the question of hearing only? Will they reject it? Hearing the holy name gradually promotes one to the state of hearing about his form, attributes, his pastime, and so on. And thus the necessity of the chanting of his glories develops successively. This process is recommended not only for the successful execution of devotional service, but also even for those who are materially attached. According to Srila Sukadeva Goswami, this way of attaining success is an established fact concluded not only by him, but also by all other previous acharyas. Therefore, there is no need for further evidence. The process is recommended not only for progressive students in different departments of ideological success, but also for those who are already successful in their achievements as spiritual workers as well as devotees of the Lord. So we'll just read the remaining paras tomorrow. Any questions, comments? Of course, this is about holy name. You might have heard many seminars on holy name. I will not take much. Maybe few points I'll add tomorrow. And some more points also I have to add from this. Yes, Ranganath.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavad. Prabhupada is distinguishing here transcendentalists and devotees.
These are transcendentalists, means they are interested in liberating themselves, Brahman.
Okay.
They are like jnanis. They are the jnanis who want to attain perfect knowledge about the material enjoyment and thus aloof from all illusory of bliss. They are satisfied in their Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma Nasochati Nakamshati, like that. But both that is false.
Transcendentalists need not be devotees.
Need not be. All transcendentalists need not be.
Thank you.
Thank you all very much. Grantra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna.